So a lot of you are following my husband's PRP journey for hair loss or hair thinning. He had hair thinning at the top of his head and around the crown of his hair. 62-year-old, very healthy male. And we started PRP. The protocol for his PRP was once a month. And at the 16-week mark, we decided, do we continue? Is there a difference, or do we call it a day? And from the get-go, it has been the ultimate success story. And I like to tell you this because people think once they're in their 60s that they are too old to be able to do this. So anybody who's younger, men in their 40s, I don't know why I keep on saying men, but men, women in their 30s, 40s, 20s, 50s, there's always hope. And I would urge you to come for a consultation, and I can see if I can help. If I can't, I won't waste my time and your money. But my husband's has been a success. So at the 16-week mark, actually well before, probably around the 12-week mark, he had already noticed that his existing hair was after getting thicker and stronger. So therefore we managed to arrest the thinning. And we could see with my microscope, which is attached to this iPad here, that the follicles were bulging. So it's a very high-powered microscope, and you can see all the little follicles in the scalp, and they look like as if they were responding. Not only were they responding to the minoxidil, which he puts in his hair every night, and you can buy that over the counter, but it was also responding to the PRP. So the reason we tell you that we knew there was something happening, which we're really happy about. Now, we're not going to fully know and fully enjoy the experience and to be able to see the full extent of it for a year, but already we know that it's responding positively. And the reason we talk at length about the 16-week mark is the follicle hair, once it starts to peep through the scalp and we can see it, it has taken 16 weeks for the hair to grow in the follicle, push through, up through the skin and come out through the scalp. And what we see, the tiny, tiny little thing that we see coming through the follicle, bulging follicle on the scalp, it's 16 weeks of work. So therefore, people expect, and oftentimes the before and after photographs can mislead people, that they think, oh my God, after 16 weeks, I'm going to have all this hair. No, you're not. So it's going to take a full year for the full result and the full extent of the treatment to be seen. So patience sadly is needed, but coming to me is usually once a month for 4 months and then twice a year. So what my husband has noticed is he used to go to the barber every 7-8 weeks just to get his hair tidied up. He never wanted too much to be taken off the top because it was thin anyway, and you could actually see right through to his scalp. The existing hair that he has is way thicker, way stronger, and the new baby hairs that are coming through, and they're only starting to come through now, are coming out black. And he had very dark hair when I met him first 30 years ago. Obviously the grey is gorgeous on him as well, so he's now going to be salt and pepper. I would imagine that the black hair that's going to come through will turn grey eventually. But all he wants, he is so happy that the hair loss is arrested. What he has is thicker and stronger. And the fact that new baby hairs are coming through is really the icing on the cake. So it's a success story for him. Be aware that if you have a consultation, you're not obliged to go ahead and have the treatment, because if it's not going to work. So sorry, I got cut out there. So if I feel that it's you're wasting your time, you'd be wasting your money, my time, and we'd have a very poor result at the end, if any at all. And usually when I examine the scalp, I can see if there is a hair coming out of the follicle. If the follicle is shiny and flat, it's dead. It's only a transplant can actually help there. If I see tiny baby hairs, even baby hairs, the little downy hairs coming out of a follicle, they are open to being resuscitated practically with ongoing minoxidil that you'll put in your scalp every night, the shampoo and conditioner, which is matching, Nioxin is the one that we recommend, and with ongoing PRP. So sometimes, and I really need to stress this, the before and after photographs, people think that they're going to have a full head of hair after 16 weeks. Please wait 1 year before you make that decision. And yeah, it's a slow process. So PRP to the scalp is entry-level resuscitation for your hair follicles. And we give you an email and suggestions on how to best support your scalp and promoting the new hair growth. Now, there are times that I can tell you that you are better off not wasting your money and my time going down the road of PRP, and therefore we wouldn't give you a false hope in that instance. The next step up is when I feel that PRP is not going to help, but something else will, and that is polynucleotides exosomes, which is a very niche service for the scalp. It's an expensive service, and it's got its own protocol. And because I wasn't trained in it, I was sending those clients to Dublin, to people who are trained up in it. But, hello, the excitement. So, exosomes, polynucleotides are here in West Cork. So, for those of you who feel that you would like to explore the road of going down for PRP for your hair loss, or polynucleotides exosomes for your hair loss, I now have the ability to give you two choices. So the PRP, as I say, is entry level, and so far we're seeing a very, very positive result with people that we've got. But for those of you who I feel that we won't get a good result from PRP, we now have polynucleotides exosomes, which is 2 mils and injected into the scalp in 1 centimetre areas, all around the areas that you've lost your hair. Still not good for people who are shiny. So if you have a shiny and bald scalp for the last 15 years, it's only a transplant will work for you. But if we feel that the PRP has gotten us to a certain point, but it's not going to give us the extra to just give your follicles the push to get the hair out, it's at that point that I would say, listen, as I say, I used to send you to Dublin, but now I can offer it here. I'm beyond excited because it's great to be able to give people choice. And in West Cork, the last thing I want is to send people all the way to Dublin, because the protocol for this is 1 injection every 2 weeks for 2 months. So that means that you'd have to travel to Dublin every 2 weeks for 2 months. And then it's 1 injection then per month for the next 4 months. So it's 8 injections in total. So it's a different protocol, and it is, so it's ideal for people that I feel that the PRP could be a little bit too much of a slow process, and if we've gotten you to a certain point and the client feels that they just want more. Now, it can also be used as a standalone treatment, so you can go directly into it rather than going down the road of PRP. But either way, I will advise you on the most financially efficient way for you. There was a time in the UK, this was launched in July of last year. There's a review of it on the Irish Times, the English, on the Sunday Times, the English one. And just email me and I will send you that on. But per treatment, they were charging £1,200 per treatment, and you had to have 8 of them. But with the popularity of it, it's come down quite significantly. So message me for the details. Somebody messaged me recently and asked to know what would the side effects of it be. The only side effects of it would be the same as it would be for PRP, tenderness on your scalp. If you are missing an awful lot of hair, the little injection points that we have done will be almost flattened and not obvious as soon as you get back as far as your car. Bruising is always a risk, but I have yet to see any of the scalp patients bruise because the needle is so tiny. And with polynucleotides exosomes that we have here, if you're allergic to fish, not necessarily shellfish, because it's the DNA that's taken from trout and or salmon. So if you're allergic to fish, well then obviously you're not going to be a suitable candidate. And you can self-refer, so you don't need to get a doctor's note. We usually like you to have the once over with a doctor beforehand though, just for check. So that if you were deficient in Vit B12, Vit D, whatever, that you can, in that instance, start supplementation and throw the kitchen sink at it. And some people, if they are suitable, can go on oral minoxidil. Now, it's a cardiac drug, so it's only a GP or a doctor can prescribe it, and some people would prefer not to take it. Or finasteride, which is also an oral drug and has to be prescribed by your doctor. The downside of both of them is that one of them is for cardiac issues, both of them are actually, and sexual function can be affected. So a lot of men in particular would prefer not to take that and just go down the road of what we offer. But I have a lot of men who are on oral finasteride. The name of it is Proscar, and it works very well in support. And what that does is it supports the capillary function to everywhere, particularly to your head. And if we can at all manage to arrest the loss, that's a big thing. If we can get what's there thicker and stronger, that's another big thing. And if new baby hairs come, that's huge. So I'm delighted that actually I'm doing this on my husband, because he's in his 60s, so he's in his later years, whereas the younger men have an even better chance because they're young and they're vibrant and they're healthy generally. So yeah, okay, I gotta get to work, guys.